Hello my friend, this is Amner Hunter from amnerhunter.com. Happy to be spending some time with you on this video. This time around I want to check out and share with you 3 cool free VST plugins that are brand new and were released for a limited time in light of the winter holidays. The first one on the list, it's this cool compressor limiter saturator by Acustica Audio. This one is called Arctic. The second freebie is the new filter Ms-20 by the company Arturia. And the last freebie on the list, it's the new virtual instrument by Audiolatry. This is the RetroVibes on the version Lite. As usual, I will leave all of the applicable and downloadable links in the description and first comment, and I also leave you timestamps in case that you want to move around between the mini segments of the video. Before we begin, I'd like to invite you quickly to my website amnerhunter.com, where I have some freebies for you that you might want to check out. Some free PDF guides and ebooks for music producers and guitar players, about mixing with free plugins, about productivity in your home studio, and how to make more music in less time as well. Also, I have some tools such as some collections of guitar impulses, a drum sample pack for rock and metal sound, among other utilities. And finally, don't forget to check out the blog and this channel, which I'm updating weekly with tons of free content. So now let's get to the freebies. The first plugin in the list, it's the new Arctic by the company Acustica Audio. This processor involves compression, limiting, and saturation in one. It's very straightforward, very simple to use. The purpose of the plugin is to save you some time when you are doing this, when you are compressing, limiting, or saturating with just a few controls. Let's go over what we have here. We're gonna have the RMS levels here. You have also the RMS and the output, right? So in that way you can pretty much level match them in case that you need it. Up here you have the control for the compression at the left. You start to go into limiting territory here, and then you start going to saturating. So compression, it's a way of controlling the dynamics, controlling the peaks. When you go to limiting, it's a form of more heavy compression to the point of really clipping the peaks or the audio in general. And saturation, it's a much more aggressive way of compression where you pretty much crush the signal and you start to enter in the distortion side of things. Then you're gonna have the gain reduction happening here depending on the threshold that you set. So this will set the amount of compression, limiting, or saturation. This filter control that we have here is side chain. So the amount that you set here will not be affected from that point and below. So for instance, if you set 200 Hertz, from 200 Hertz and below, nothing will be affected by the compression, so the low end will be intact. Then you have the dry wet functionality to blend the unprocessed and processed signal, very useful sometimes. The other control here, very important, it's the time. This is the attack, so slow attack and fast attack. Both of these modes can be useful in certain situations. You have an output control in case that you need to level match the signal, but you can do that also with the makeup gain. You have also oversampling for mastering purposes to avoid digital distortion. Let's take a listen to this processor in action. The next plugin on the list, it's the new filter Ms-20 by the company Arturia. This plugin, it's inspired by a module of a synthesizer, and it contains three modules: the distortion module, the filter, and a modulation module, which I'm going to check out in a moment. In the distortion module, you use the drive control to increase the distortion. You have a low cut or high pass filter and a high cut or low pass filter. You have a dry wet functionality for this module and an output. Then you have the filter module with a master cutoff that it's linked to the high pass and low pass filter that you have here. So no matter the values of these two parameters, the master cutoff will move both of them. You have the peak control for each one of the filters. These peaks are the resonant frequencies. The stereo functionality will add movement in the stereo spectrum to these filtered frequencies. One cool addition to this is that you can switch in the signal chain the distortion going to the filter or the filter going to the distortion with this control that you have, and it will drastically give you different sounds. You have the output section here with the mix control for unprocessed and processed signal, and the movement that is linked to the modulation that we're going to check out in a moment. This will add exactly that, and the effects level. To go to that section, you click here on Advanced, and you're going to be presented with three modulation controls. Here you have the envelope of the signal, and the rise and fall is the attack and release. And you have a sensitivity control as well. The envelope follower module is linked to the first control that you have on each one of these knobs. Then we move on with the step sequencer, which you have 16 steps, and you can create a very cool arpeggiators. You have here the rate. You can sync it. You can move these 16 steps whatever you want, up or down, or also to the left here for the number of steps. The step sequencer module is linked to the second knob that you have here in purple. You have some additional controls to further randomize or smoothen the step sequencer. The last module is the function generator, where you can also shape the sound here with sine waves, with saw. You have also some presets to choose from, and this will add more movement to the signal. This module is linked to the third small control that you have on these knobs. So with these controls, you can add the amount of what's going on down here in the modulation module to each one of these filters and distortion. Let's listen to some audio examples of this. The last plugin in the list, this is an instrument, a gift from the company Audiolatry in light of the holidays. This instrument, it's called RetroVibes, and it will give you very cool 80s sounds of different categories such as bass, brass, keys, leads, pads, and percussions. The presets are very well crafted. You have ADSR, which means the attack of the signal, decay, sustain, and release. You have reverb functionality, and you can also change the tuning, low or up. You have a filter control. You can use it as a low pass or high pass filter. With this, you can add glide to the sound, and you can use different modes: polyphonic, monophonic, or legato. And you have the modulation control, where you can select the type of waveform, SRC or triangle. You have the MIDI keyboard here, and you have different velocity here: normal, weak, or strong. And finally, the general output volume and the panning as well, to the left or to the right. Let's listen to some audio examples of some of the presets that we have here. Please let me know down below in the comment section what you think about this cool freebies. Do you have a favorite out of these 3 plugins? Are you looking forward to try one of these? I am very interested to know your opinion. Before we go, let me invite you one last time to my website, amnorhunter.com, where I have some additional freebies for you. Some free PDF guides and ebooks for music producers and guitar players. Also some tools such as some collections of guitar impulses, a drum sample pack, among other stuff. And finally, don't forget to check out the blog and this channel, which I'm updating weekly with tons of free content. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much. I will see you very soon in the next one. All right? Take care.